Hey guys, so this is Veronica Mars, season 1, um, episode 3, I believe. Yeah, 3. Titled um, Meet John Smith. So this episode centers around this freshman kid named Justin Smith who asks for Veronica's help to find his supposed missing father. What he fails to tell her is that he is told and has been told by his mother since he was 6 that his father is actually dead. And so he lies to her to initially to get to spend time with her. Um, and then she finds out via Wallace stealing his school records that his father's supposedly dead. And before she finds this part out, though, she tries to find when she's still under the guise that he's supposed to be alive. She sends out like $150 worth, $120 worth, or whatever, worth of postage to um, all these John Smiths in the California area. Um, so apparently, like when she goes to confront him about when she goes to confront Justin about the fact that his father's dead, um, someone comes up to him and says, "Are you Justin Smith?" And he's like, "Yes." So, and she hands him a piece of mail, and I'm saying, okay. So this is a little thing I have a problem with, and I've always had a problem with since I've watched this whole thing. Why is he getting mail at school? Why is he getting mail at school? I don't get it. How is he getting mail at school? Is she? Because is she? Did she? Cause I don't remember her explaining that any mail that she gets from the letter she sent out would be sent to the school. I don't remember her having said that, so I don't quite understand why he would be getting anything at school when it wasn't explicitly stated. So again, I ask, why is a student getting mail at school? I can understand a teacher or someone part of administration getting mail at that school or school related business, but a student, and that's always kind of bothered me. I never really understood why he would be getting mail at school when they haven't said anything about it yet, or like why like he would be getting school or mail at his school. So anyway, so the letter has a San Diego postmark, and there's only out of all the men that all the men named John Smith that they found, only 3 live in San Diego. So she decides to look up their addresses and goes to photograph them. When she gets back, she asks, she shows him these photos of these 2 John Smiths to see if, um, see if they're the man that he's looking for, because uh, he had shown his mom the letter, and she explained, I lied about him being dead, so that's why she had actually gone to San Diego. So, the first one is a vet and overweight, and bald, and so he says, that's not him. I'm pretty sure it's not him. Second one has green eyes, and that can't be him because of the fact that whenever um, a specific song comes on called Brown Eyed Man or Brown Eyed Guy or something like that, she gets all sad and stuff, and so she ends up turning it off. So it can't be him because of the green eyes. Third guy, he had sunglasses on the entire time. He's also bald as well, but if we can't really see his eyes, Justin doesn't think that he will yet be able to figure out if that's him or not. So after school, they all, he and Veronica go to San Diego to follow the third guy around. Um, so they follow him around, and when he finally parks at like some bar or strip club or whatever, Justin exits the car, runs up to him, and the guy pulls his sunglasses down and looks at Justin, and Justin's like, oh shit, it's not him. Um, and when the guy leaves, Veronica sees a post-it note with writing on it, um, and the handwriting is the same exact handwriting as the letter. So they follow the guy to his house. Veronica breaks into his garage and is caught. And she finds out the guy is actually a parole officer. And as we've seen throughout this episode, there's this woman who goes to Justin's work, which is a video rental store, and she actually lives there too. So turns out his father transitioned into being a woman, and so she's like, well, I was afraid, your mother was going to um, tell you that you were dead. So what she did, on the way home, I was like, look, she's driven 90 miles to meet you, even if it's for a few seconds. Don't hold what your mom did against her because something that wasn't in her control to do. Like, I mean, she transitioned, okay? Your mother couldn't handle that, and so because of that, your mother told you your other parent was dead. So don't hold what your mom did against her. So, because it's like, I would love, I would wish my mom would um, do the same for me. So, essentially, you see him calling her a few days later, I guess, when the special order of body heat arrives into the video store, and saying, you know what, here's the special edition, or the not the special edition, but the video of body heat came in. I'll be here Saturdays as always um, to um, to if you want to come that day or whatever. So that's essentially the case of the week. Other subplots are a guidance counselor named Rebecca James. She calls Keith in to talk about Veronica, and she explains, look, Veronica is late. It seems increasing quite a bit. She's disrespectful to certain teachers, and she seems to be isolated, a bit isolated. And so Keith's kind of dismissive in saying, like, well, I don't really understand why you're bringing this up, considering the year that she has had. And so he leaves and then comes back a couple days later to say, look, I'm sorry for how I acted, the other day, and I don't think I'm the best person to handle talking to Veronica about everything she's going through. Um, and I'm assuming that's because of the fact that he feels guilty for having gone after Drake King so aggressively um, when Lily had died. And so she's like, he asks her for help, and so she offers to talk to Veronica about it and all that stuff. So then he, like when he had gone to talk to her the second time, she accidentally knocks over a open cup of coffee on the floor. He sees the logo on the cup of coffee, and then he decides to go to that coffee shop because she apparently goes there a lot, and he plays it off like they kept missing each other. Um, just like Keith, like we get it, you're lonely, but like, can you be any more obvious? um, and then another subplot is Duncan. We find out Duncan is taking medication for antidepressants. Um, at this point, we don't know for how long. We assume it's because it has to do with Lily's death. Like he's been taking it since then, and then you see him stop taking his medication, and so immediately he starts acting rather different. First, it's at dinner the same night he stops taking his meds. He starts, wanting to make toast to a dog who has long since been adopted by new people. Next, it's like a couple of days later, or like the day after he stops taking his meds, and Logan, and a couple of their friends are drinking on the bleachers, and one of his friends jumps off and lands on um, uh, like one of those mats where the people who do gymnastics land on when, or they use for like doing somersaults or whatever, doing flips and stuff like that. And so his friend jumps on that, and then um, when Duncan sees Veronica kiss Troy, this new kid named Troy Vandegraff, he decides to jump off it as well because of that, and he doesn't quite, in his words, stick the landing, and so he ends up cutting, like the back of his head starts, is cut open, and so she takes him to the hospital where, and after he, gets stitched up and all that stuff, he reveals to doctor that he stopped taking his antidepressant meds, um, depression meds, yeah. And so the doctor's like, you know what, there's gonna be side effects. You're gonna feel nauseous, um, and you may start hallucinating, and that's what he does. He starts hallucinating about Lily, and so that's when he starts getting back onto his meds for that, because he's like, you know what, I don't want to hallucinate about my dead sister anymore because it's too painful. So that's another subplot. Um, and another subplot is the fact that Troy, or Veronica, starts. She's been hanging out with this guy, or talking to this guy, Troy Vandegraff, since the previous episode, episode 2, and he's kind of been trying to, go on a date with her, and so she finally caves and goes on a date with him. And the night they have the date, he tries to go in for a kiss, but she's like, hold up, I don't want to do that, because she's, still kind of gun shy with everything that's happened with Duncan. And so the next day, she kisses him, and that's when, Duncan jumps off the bleachers and crap like that. So there's that little subplot. And the final subplot is the fact that Veronica tries to confront Keith about the fact that her mom was at the Camelot motel with Jake Kane, and Keith's like, you know what, no, I don't want to talk about that. So she's found her mom's address and goes to Arizona. She does this after, she wraps up the case with Justin, and she finds an old college friend of her mother's who tells her that her mom left a couple weeks beforehand, um, but she doesn't know where her mother went because she can't seem she can't keep a secret. So, and Leanne was worried that Keith would eventually find her in this at this place in Arizona, and she would, ultimately tell him where Leanne went. So that's why um, uh, she didn't get that information. So as a result, she ends up going to Troy's house to be comforted. So that's pretty much the entire episode, in a nutshell. I like the way the show handles the main plot, and then it sprinkles in, like, 2 or 3 subplots, and they do it to me. They do it very well, so I like that. They I like the fact that they um, have all these, subplots sprinkled in that don't seem forced or rushed or contrived or anything like that. So um, that's pretty much all I really have for episode 3, and I'll see you next time.